Hello folks and welcome back to GameSpot's coverage of E3 2016. I'm starting to miss E3 already. I'm feeling like it's like earlier this morning I felt like there was too much E3 and now I'm getting sad. So I'm delighted, Graeme Jennings, that you're here to talk to us about Halo Wars 2 because I guess there are a lot of games that were leaked ahead of time, and you guys were one of the very few in the Microsoft conference that didn't.
Yeah.
So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And second of all, what's it been like for the studio for seeing everyone react to Halo Wars 2?
It's been great. I mean, we announced the game back at Gamescom last year. Just had a little cinematic to go with that, and then this week we've come out with a beta that's playable on Xbox One for 8 days. It started on Monday, and then we have playable code on floor. So the response has been really good because you know we've been waiting to actually show some gameplay, and we finally got a chance this week.
You guys are part of the whole. What are they calling it again? Is it cross? It's
we're
like
part of Play Anywhere.
Yeah.
So basically, for Xbox Now, one of our initiatives is Play Anywhere. So if you buy a title on Xbox One or you buy it on Windows 10, then you get it on the other platform.
Yeah.
So for us with Halo Wars 2, your progression and your saves continue. So pick up the game, start playing a couple of missions, you know, on Xbox, and then switch to PC, and off you go.
Yeah. Halo Wars, I guess it was 2009?
Yeah, it was 2009.
It came out? All right. So when that first came out, it was like, okay, this is great. Somebody's making a real-time strategy game, and they are going to make one for consoles that's going to be sort of easy to control. It's going to be, you know, work without a mouse and keyboard. Is that still like part of the sort of core idea of the sequel, or, you know, especially with this Play Anywhere aspect to it, are you a little bit lighter on that?
No, so we love what they did with Halo Wars with the first one. I think it was a really good game. They really brought console RTS to life with controls that worked really well on the controller. Obviously we have PC now as well. We're partnered with Creative Assembly in the UK, who are obviously an RTS powerhouse for 2 decades now. So building PC controls for them, I think, super easy. So it's been really good to get, both control systems down and working really early on. And we've got them both playable on the floor as well. So like consumers are playing them now, so it's really good. Yeah. Feedback's great.
Are they similar audiences, the two of them? Because I often feel like, you've got your RTS fans on PC, which are an incredibly sort of, I guess, passionate, and they tend not to, they're quite insular as well. They tend to, at least what we see on GameSpot, they tend to play a lot of real-time strategy games that not drift outside of it. Whereas on the console side, it always seemed like, oh, we might actually be pulling in people who play Halo. Do you find that they are sort of two different audiences?
I think there's definitely, a hardcore RTS audience on PC, and I think CA and their games have a large following just on that.
Yeah.
I think Halo Wars itself still has a large following. It's crazy. The amount of people who still actually play Halo Wars on console, the amount of Xbox Live hours to date is, even this year is massive.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's been our most demanded game. Like, this is why we're doing this, for Halo Wars 2. People have been knocking on our door for, years asking for another one, so now we're finally able to bring it to them, and it's cool.
Yeah, Alex, I remember we were talking a while ago about how, was it when you were in university or something, that was all that used to happen?
Yeah, in high school, we would, the boys would all get together, well, all of my friends would get together, and we would play Halo Wars, and the boys would play, and then the girls would watch, and then when the boys were done, we would play. I just have to. So it's a fun part of my my teenage years. I have to ask. I know you said that everyone's been knocking on your door for it, but did you ever think that you'd be returning to Halo Wars? Did you want to?
Yeah, we wanted to, for sure. I think one of the key things as well with this was, how do we find the right partner to do it? We were going to step into this and do another one if we could have, a solid team to do it. And when we started throwing around the idea of Creative Assembly, everyone got super excited. And we're like, let's talk to them and see what they could do. And then we met with those guys, and they came back with a level of passion that we had too. And then, it was like kind of an immediate match, and it's worked really well since. It's fantastic to work with those guys.
What sort of time frame are we looking at here? Is this happen after the events of the first game?
So it's set 28 years after the first one. So basically, at the end of Halo Wars 1, they go into cryo sleep. 28 years later, they wake up. They've suddenly been pulled towards the Ark, which is an installation we saw in Halo 3. So everything's been brought into current Halo timeline as well now. So Halo Wars 2 takes place just after the events of Halo 5 and kind of overall Halo timeline.
Okay. Was that also kind of a request of the fans as well?
It was more for us. I think we wanted to, we have loads of fiction in the Halo universe and tell, a multitude of different stories. Yeah. Bringing this to current day allows us to do more tie-ins and so on.
Talk about this trailer a little bit, because it's quite an interesting trailer, because you can sort of project yourself into either one of those characters as like they are the tacticians. What's the idea behind putting that trailer out there? Because
so when we see these two sides, obviously on the right-hand side we have Cutter, who returns from Halo Wars 1. On the left-hand side we have the leader of the Banished, Atriox. So this is our new enemy in this game. So kind of show a multitude of different units for the two characters, and it kind of, you see the guys coming together. It's really, for that trailer, it's like move, counter move, he does this, I do that, just like the game, rock, paper, scissors, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. So that was kind of the idea, how do we bring that in the trailer? And then we're working with Blur to do the trailers and the cinematics in game. I mean, they did the cinematics in Halo Wars 1 as well, which were really renowned at the time, really high quality cinematics. So those guys are back to work with us again for Halo Wars 2.
How important is that for you guys? Because obviously, looking at this from an isometric angle predominantly, you don't sort of get to tell those sort of like little, I don't know, personal stories that are happening within the battlefield. How important is that for you guys? Is it, because the cynical person in me will say, oh, that's mostly a marketing tool, because it's like, oh, it's like a really fancy trailer, looks nothing like the game. But like, how important is it for like actually telling the story within the game, like giving context for all of what's happening from like the top down? Yeah,
I think, when we talk about camera angle, it's harder to tell stuff in terms of cutscenes and things in that. So we use those cinematics paced between missions to really, fill the story and build those things in. And the work that Blur does is fantastic. So, we always get really high quality. And telling stories in the Halo universe as part of Halo games is kind of like a key, it's a key fundamental and pillar of a Halo game to have a great story throughout it. So it's really important for us to use them too.
How difficult has it been to sort of keep, I mean, the PCRT, I'm just looking at some of the battles here as well, there's quite a lot going on in some of the earlier B-roll as well. How difficult has it been trying to retain the sort of, I don't know, ease of use on the controller while also, expanding the battles out for the PC crowd? So
the controller for the system we're using is based on the Halo Wars 1.1, did a really good job with that. So we've added new features and controls to it, but, the fundamental's still there.
It's not super different to...
No, if you pick it up, it'll feel natural when you start to play it. When we added PC controls on top of that, we've done extra things so it feels right on PC as well. Like, one of the key goals was how do we make control systems that feel right on each platform?
Right.
So they're obviously separate. Keyboard and mouse is a completely different proposition than controller. So things that are different on PC, for example, you have more control groups, easier, have 10 instead of 4.
Yeah.
We have a clickable in mini-map. It's, easier selection of units, those kind of things. So.
Cool.
The old Control A. Yeah, always a favorite. What about new species or new races or new? Because I guess you jump a couple of years into the future. Obviously, a lot of the ties have changed and the allegiances and whatnot as well. But does that open up other sort of opportunities for you to use people that have been introduced in later Halo games?
So we have our enemy in this is Atriox, and he leads a faction called the Banished. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later in the year, but the Banished is a new enemy in this, and bring new units into the game as well. There's like a bunch of new units in, and they're playable in the beta at home too. So.
Oh, nice.
We're looking at some of the base building here, actually. So for people who maybe actually missed out on the first Halo Wars and thinking about it, it has actually been almost, 7 years or so. So there will be some people who maybe were too young as well. So what's the moment-to-moment gameplay like for those people? How much does base building take into account? How much is it just moving forward with your units within the sort of linear map?
Really depends what you're doing. So one of our fundamental goals for this as well is what we call RTS for everyone. So really want to make sure that we offer a mode that everyone can access. So on the multiplayer suite, we have a mode called Blitz that we're going to talk about more later this year. That's really fast to action, quick games, new way to play RTS. We have the more traditional mode, like in the beta that will start tomorrow, of Deathmatch. That's more, establish your base, start to choose which units, what tech tree you want. So that's kind of a bit slower, more strategic choices. And then on the floor we have Strongholds, so that's less about resource management. Everything's open, you have loads of resources, and you're ready to go. That's more about building the right units straight away, and then that's more about map control and domination.
So you adding in more modes into the beta right now?
So we have, the first 4 days of the beta are domination, so we decided to roll with 2 playlists.
Right.
First 4 days of domination, that's about map control.
And we're on the 4th day right now,
Yeah, so it changes tonight at like 11:59, or, it's literally the slot when the day changes.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we start Deathmatch. So we wanted to roll 2 different modes and see how people play.
And when is it over, the beta?
It finishes Monday at 11:59.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Just when you're finished working here, probably.
That's the good thing. It's great we launched it here, loads of excitement, cool. Sad part is I don't get to play it at the minute because I'm sat here.
Well, I love when people do that because so much of E3 is a load of people going to LA and getting to play these games, and then so much of the folks who are watching don't get to play anything.
Yeah.
So when they get to play something, when they have the time to play the Resident Evil demo and this beta, and we just had Cliffy on, and the Lawbreakers beta is going to kick off as well. It's like it always, it's like they get their own little sort of thing that the rest of us actually, unless we
We don't get it because we're
unless
too
we
busy.
find some time to get on the show floor.
So, but yeah, you can sneak a couple of days in just at the end of the weekend. I think.
Yeah, so that's only on Xbox One, right? That's
So that's on Xbox One for this one. We are
Right.
actually going to do another one before launch as well, and that'll be on Windows 10 and Xbox One.
okay, cool.
Nice.
So this one, the goal with this one was, people use beta a lot for different terms.
For
People
sure.
do beta that are like 3 weeks before launch.
Right.
People do
We used to
beta.
call those demos.
Exactly. I know. So the phrase beta has kind of been changed a little
Yeah.
bit through the years, and consistency from beta to beta is far away. This for us is a true beta. We're not coming out till February next year. This is a real slice. Let's give it to fans. Let's see how they play. Let's see what issues they have and what we can tune and tune and change. So it's nice to launch something so early, so we get player and fan feedback.
Yeah.
With the ability to change things based on that.
It's a really good time for strategy games as well. Like this year, there's a bunch of big
there's a lot
4X
coming out.
games, like space ones. Obviously, we just had the folks from Dawn of War on as well, talking about that. Where do you guys sort of feel like you fit into real-time strategy? Like it's kind of more accessible, more mainstream, sort of.
I think like you say, we're trying to go with the RTS for everyone, where this is the goal of doing more demos later on as well, and betas later on, is to make sure
We're part of the problem.
He got
I'm part of the
you.
problem.
You
Yeah.
did get me on that one.
You got
Or
him.
betas later, closer to launch, is to show different modes to people. So we show,
Right.
we have stuff that easier to play, quick to play. You want to play for 10 minutes? We have something for you. Want to play for an hour? Turtle, build a massive army, kind of rolling ball of death, and then
Yeah.
go later. So we make sure we cater for everyone with that. So I think we're trying to hit, the mainstream across the board.
Yeah.
And then we have the Halo Wars 1 loyalists, and then we have, a big bunch of Halo fans as well who just want more Halo content to play.
Yeah. I wonder if you'll have like one group of Halo Wars 1 players that just won't move. It'll be like Counter-Strike 1.6 all over again. It'll just be like, no, we like the pure version back here.
So we are actually, so we have 2 SKUs basically. We have Halo Wars 2 Standard Edition. We have Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition 2. That actually includes a remaster of Halo Wars 1.
Right.
And all the DLC bundled together.
That's
And
presumably
Nice.
not on the, what is it, cross-play, the
Play anywhere?
Play
It's
anywhere.
on Play Anywhere, so
Right.
it is coming to Windows 10. So we are
Right.
actually bringing Halo Wars 1
Oh,
to
no.
PC.
That's very cool.
So that's the other complaint I think from Halo Wars 1 is like, why do you guys not do this for PC? So we are actually fixing that now, and we're coming and bringing it.
Yeah, I guess you can't fix everything all in one go, but you're doing a really good job. Graeme Jennings, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
So it's out early next week, right?
So it's
February?
out February 21st next year.
Cool.
And the beta runs till end of Monday.
Excellent. Where should people go to get in on the beta?
So just jump in on the Xbox store, download it.
Go to your Xbox. Hey Cortana, Halo Wars 2 beta, and hopefully that should work, right?
Yeah, they should program her to like respond in a certain way if you're like playing a Halo game or something.
Just, oh yeah, actually, that's a good
Yeah.
point. You should do that. There's for the next beta.
It's an idea.
Graeme, thank you so much.
Thank
Real
you.
sad Scotland weren't in the UEFA Cup, by the way.
Yeah, maybe some year in the future.
If the Welsh got in, the
Or-
Welsh can get in.
It's been 1998 though since we actually qualified for it.
But that was also a great FIFA game.
It was,
And you were
yes.
in it.
Yes, that's
Probably
true.
Road to World Cup and FIFA 98. So
Yes.
you'll always have
I
that.
feel it's going to be a long time before we're in another FIFA World Cup game.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe 1 year.
We'll combine.
Yes.
When Brexit happens, it'll be like Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland will all pile up and we'll
Just form some kind of random football team.
exactly. Then we'll do it. Thank you so much for watching the GameSpot stage. In case you haven't noticed, I've been doing this for 5 days and I've gone a bit mental. I'll be back in just a little bit. Thank you so much, Alexa, for hanging out. She's sticking around. We've got a bunch more games here on the stage. I'm heading in to play with Critical Role for a little while, but I'll be back on later with Greg Rice with Headlander, Nathan Vella with Below, Ukulele, and my notes here are a week old and they say unannounced Ubisoft VR title, so I can't wait to go and find out. It's not Eagle Flight because I did that yesterday. Thanks so much. Stick around. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.